What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, and everything going on here in our country in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to subscribe down below. I'll keep you up to date with everything going on here in our country, as well as money, investing, the stock market, everything you need to know about on a daily basis. And I will be giving you the final clue to what is in that box as well. I'm giving away $1,000 here in total to our viewers. And if you can guess what's in that box, you could win money directly from me. So make sure to watch to the end to get the final clue to what's in that box. And we're going to be revealing the winners here very, very shortly here in an upcoming episode. So you won't want to miss out on that as well. We got a lot to talk about here in this video. So let's jump right in here as they're going to be trying to pass the stimulus package here, as well as emergency virus stimulus aid as well. And the Democrats are scrambling to try to pass voting rights, which is not going so well for them. And yeah, here we go. The Democrats are going to try to take up voting right legislation and the Build Back Better package this upcoming week and in the Senate. And it's going to be an interesting week here this week as Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are going to have a lot of decisions coming up here this week on what they're going to do. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has vowed to hold a vote this upcoming week to get rid of the filibuster in the Senate. That's the rule that normally requires 60 votes. They want to vote to remove that for voting rights. Now, they can remove that if all 50 Democrats and the Vice President of the United States vote to remove that for voting rights. That's what the Democrats want to do. And the Republicans did that a few years ago and removed the filibuster for appointing Supreme Court justices with the Republicans, and when Mitch McConnell was leader of the Republicans in the Senate. So Republicans did that. The Democrats are now trying to do it. But as of right now, Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, you know their theme song, dun dun dun, they're not looking like they want to do it. Even though Senator Joe Manchin co-authored and wrote one of those voting right bills. So it's going to be an interesting week to see what happens with that. Also, they're expected to potentially start debate on the Build Back Better package this week as well. So it's going to be a very interesting week here in the Senate. Senator Elizabeth Warren, who recently actually recovered from catching COVID, says she is optimistic that Build Back Better can pass. And she's also been pushing here recently for more student loan forgiveness as well. And the question is going to be what type of compromises they will have to make, what will end up having to go here to pass the Build Back Better package. We also have multiple different kind of other stimulus type packages that Congress is talking about. And we have a huge push for a fourth stimulus check. We have a petition with over 3 million signatures from residents here in the United States. And the child tax credits have now expired here on, well, yesterday. And, well, it depends. December 15th was the last payment. And yesterday, the January 15th payment was supposed to go out, but they have not been able to come to an agreement. And 60 million children were not able to get that January 15th payment because they were not able to come to an agreement for that. And while Congress is considering multiple different options for more virus stimulus relief, more emergency stimulus packages because of how bad the Omicron variant is right now. We have over 800,000 people testing per day positive on a daily basis on average. And yeah, the economy is really, really suffering. Think about how many people right now per day cannot go to work and are missing out on their paychecks. Yeah. In addition to that, we're dealing with inflation at a 40-year high. And trying to combat that as well. Here's the White House and the Labor Secretary talking about that and what they're trying to do to combat that.
Joining me now to continue that conversation is United States Secretary of State, Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh. Secretary Walsh, good to see you this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me this morning.
Part of this inflation issue is that we've got a shortage of workers in this country. We've got 11 million job openings, roughly, and about 8.38 million people available to work. And I'm trying to get a handle on what you think about this. Is this fantastic because the shortage of workers means that wage is 20, or is it terrible because it's causing inflation?
I wouldn't say it's fantastic, and I wouldn't say it's terrible. I would say that it is we're living within a pandemic. President Biden inherited lots of problems from the previous administration that he had to deal with. No plan to deal with the pandemic, no plan to deal with supply shortages, no plan to deal with manufacturing problems, and living within a pandemic at the same time. So certainly what we're doing now is working with businesses to alleviate the supply chain, creating pre-apprentice programs for trucking, looking at manufacturing and warehousing, looking at all those different issues. The president passed the bipartisan infrastructure law that we're going to be putting money out into the economy, investments in roads and bridges. Secretary Buttigieg announced a bridge plan the other day. We're working on job training as well. So I think when I think about this economy, obviously I heard the piece right before I came on. There are a lot of challenges and a lot of concerns for the American worker. There's no surprise about that, and I can't sugarcoat that. But at the end of the day, when you look at what President Biden has done in 2021 around economics, around job development and creation, and laying out a plan for 2022 to deal with inflation as well as part of that. That's really important. But we can't go back, and I wish we could, and stop the pandemic, because a lot of these conversations around inflation we wouldn't be having today.
Right, and I don't know what percentage we wouldn't be having if we didn't have the pandemic-related supply chains and factory closings and things like that. But some of this is labor cost. And again, I'm stuck on this because I think that we've struggled for years to try and increase the federal minimum wage and state minimum wages. I mean, it's ridiculous that in some places in this country, people still earn $7.25 an hour. We have raised those wages. In fact, according to the last Bureau of Labor Statistics report, average hourly earnings at the end of December were $26.61 versus $25.15. Doesn't seem like much if you're earning it, but it's an increase in the right direction. That's got to be a good thing that wages are going up. So how do policymakers like you think about that higher wages are good, but they have knock-on effects that are not fantastic for some small businesses and for some consumers?
Well, I think the American people have realized during the pandemic. I mean, we thought of grocery store workers. We didn't necessarily always call them essential, and over the last year and a half, they've become essential. And they worked throughout the whole pandemic, and they put their lives on the line in the very early days of the pandemic, when there wasn't a lot of masks and there wasn't a lot of still figuring out what's going on with this pandemic. And I think that people don't mind paying more if that money's trickling into the pockets of the workers. When I say that, I know I'm talking about 7% inflation. I'm talking some more money for whether a gallon of milk or a loaf of bread. But I also think that companies need to be very cognizant of the fact that as inflation goes up, and as we can put those procedures in place to bring inflation down, it's important that they affect the kitchen table to bring those costs down. And again, I think that as we go through 2022, we're going to see, I think our inflation number will start to go the other direction. As you said earlier about the dust on the shelf, I'm not sure if it'll go back to zero, but certainly I think if workers are making more money and they're putting more money in the economy and they're able to raise a family and they're able to support their family, I think that that's a very good positive sign. And that's quite honestly what President Biden, when he was running for president, when he talked about Build Back Better turned into a bill. But what Build Back Better is making sure people and families have the opportunity to get to the middle class. I want to see more families, and we want to see more families in a better financial situation as we move into 2022. And certainly we saw they had it in 2019.
And a new poll came out today. Half in a new poll say they're frustrated with President Biden's presidency. And both former President Donald Trump and current President Biden really didn't do too well with approval ratings. And I suspect a lot of that had to do with the pandemic. A lot of people not very happy with the pandemic. And I said this when President Trump was president. I'm saying this now. When Biden was president, if I was president, it's a really tough time. And I said this, back in 2020, when Trump was president. It's really just a tough time to make people think you're doing a good job. With millions of people testing positive, it's just how do you how do you combat that? Really tough. Half the respondents in a new CBS poll released on Sunday said they were frustrated with Joe Biden's presidency just a few days before he marks his first full year in office. When asked in the poll how Biden's presidency made them feel, half of the respondents said they were, quote, frustrated and disappointed. Additionally, 40% said his presidency made them feel nervous, while a quarter of respondents said it made them feel calm and satisfied. Overall, respondents in the CBS News survey appeared to have less than an optimistic view on the current state of the country. Nearly 75% of those surveys said they felt America was doing somewhat or very badly in a general sense. And for comparison, again, I don't choose sides or anything like that. Here's a story from 2 days ago, January 14th, from a polling station, 538. 1 year in, Biden's approval rating is in trouble. Only Trump's was lower 1 year in. And here are the approval ratings you can see here on the screen. Trump here is in red. 1 year after being in, Trump is at 39% on January 13th. Biden on January 13th is at 42%. And you can see here George W. Bush got the huge spike after the September 11th incident. He went from having a 52% approval rating to 84% approval rating. And, we know what happened there. Obama had a 48% approval rating, and Clinton had a 42% approval rating. So you can kind of see all the presidents' approval ratings here. George W. Bush, Trump, Biden, Obama, Clinton, pretty much everybody's spectrum here on the charts here. So these are kind of an overall historic approval rating here for everybody. Interesting to see the spike here from George W. Bush here. Wow, what a significant spike that was. But yeah, you can just kind of see everybody's here. Wow, what a difference here. So Biden and Trump had the lowest approval ratings after 1 year each. So it's just seems like both of them having a tough time getting approval here in the current state of affairs here recently. You can let me know your thoughts on this. Now, it is also interesting to note here that we have, we're still in this pandemic, and by a lot of measures, at the worst of it, when we have 800,000 people testing positive per day. And yet, a lot of stimulus measures are now in peril. We have the child tax credits that just expired. And it's not that they want them to expire, it's just that they haven't come to an agreement. We have some Republicans that want to extend them. Mitt Romney, Republican senator, actually has his own plan to actually make them more money for some children under 6 would actually be $350 per month. Mitt Romney has actually his own bill. The Democrats want to extend them. Even Senator Manchin says that he supports the child tax credits. He just has a bunch of different kind of stipulations for them. So, and all the other Democrats want to pass it too as well. They just have to figure out a way to do it. Okay. But nonetheless, 60 million children did not get their payments this weekend during a pandemic once in 100 years. We go back to the 1918 pandemic that claimed the lives of over 50 million people. Right now, this pandemic is almost 6 million people worldwide. Not quite a million people in the US, just for comparison's sake. That was the Spanish flu of 1918, or the pandemic of 1918, which actually most people say, or a lot of people say, ended World War One, just for comparison's sake. So, we've been dealing with viruses for hundreds or thousands of years. It's not just a new thing that just came around now. So yeah, so we have the child tax credits that have ended that they want to pass. We've had 3 stimulus checks, and we have millions of people now pushing for a fourth stimulus check. We have 38 states that have just extended pandemic emergency SNAP benefits, like kind of additional SNAP benefits on top of the normal SNAP benefits, kind of bonus SNAP benefits, food assistance benefits. So that is still continuing. And then rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance still going on here in most states. I have links down for you below in the description of this video on how to claim that. Videos showing you how to do that. We still got a lot of different things going on here, but Congress, the problem with Congress is that the Democrats have to get everybody on board, or they have to come to an agreement with Republicans, and that's one of the problems here is that they have to just get people to agree, and getting people to agree is one of the hard things to do right now. So yeah, you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I just did a video here right before this about universal basic income programs that are going on all across the country with monthly payments going out to thousands and thousands of people across the country with monthly payments of anywhere from $300 a month to $1,200 a month that are going on here though. So those are going on here as well. And we have a lot of different programs. We're going to have state stimulus checks. In 2022, we're going to have a lot of those going on here as well. So I'm going to keep you up to date here with everything here going forward. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments. So let's get to our what's in the box clue. This is going to be clue number 10, the last and final clue. So if you can guess what's in that box, you will be entered into the pool of people, the group of people that have entered correctly. And from there, we will have randomly picked with a tool that randomly picks 10 people to win $100 each for a total of $1,000 this time around. We're going to definitely be doing this again, so stay tuned because you never know when we'll start the next one. And clue number, so yeah, all you need to do to guess is just comment down below. You can guess as many times as you like. There's no limit. And clue number 10 is every champion was once a contender who refused to give up. Every champion was once a contender who refused to give up. And that's also a great motto in life. It's a motto to live by. You don't necessarily have to be like a champion per se, but that's a great motto to live by. Never give up. Always keep moving. Always keep going forward. Never giving up is literally a motto I have lived by in my life. And here I am making videos for you every single day, despite being dizzy and living with vertigo every single day. We're here. Never give up. Keep moving forward. Think positive. Think optimistic. Always keep moving forward, and your life will go in a positive direction. That's a motto I live by every single day, and I have my whole life. It's a great words and wisdom that I've been taught in my life, and I definitely want to share that with you. So that is clue number 10, and it's actually a very good clue I don't want to give too much away, but it's actually a very good clue. So if you want to, comment down below what you think's in the box. We'll be announcing the winners here very soon, so don't miss any new videos at this point. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. All it does is make it so you won't miss out on new videos. The algorithm will be more likely to show you the videos. After subscribing, click the bell icon next to the subscribe button so you get reminders when we go live with new videos, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest video next, which has those monthly payments that are going out here right now in dozens of cities across the country. And also this video is about January 19th, which is going to be a very important day for millions of people as well. So click on one of those videos next. You can also click the share button down below to share this video with your family and friends. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.